and that was really interesting. I think that was the most interesting course I have taken in my entire life. And I mean, I have taken a lot of courses. Like I had I had done a bachelor degree, and I had also started on a second bachelor degree, and I had studied a lot of stuff, you know, different topic, like different fields and everything, but that course was really interesting. However, I did not have that much time, you know, to actually there was things happening around me in that time that really made me sort of questioning what I was, if this was something I was gonna go for, because meaning that I would go for Islam also meant that there were certain things that I wasn't really, that I couldn't combine together, you know. So yeah, because as I said, not everyone accepts Islam, you know, and that's like there is one saying that the truth is always the hardest to accept. It's going to be attacked. So yeah. So and then either way, because I was sort of sticking to what I felt was the right thing, and also I was like, okay, since I'm considering to really, you know, being a Muslim, like to really stepping into that, you know, and I mean, I was like, because I have lived in a more secular setting, I didn't want to take on a full-on Muslim identity and just drop all my other, you know, roles and just identities and stuff. But I thought that, okay, if I'm gonna go for this and really speak, like really represent this, then I need to also kind of be sure to, like, I need to go to the bottom of the other options that I have available, you know. So I did. So I was like getting, I mean, I tested a lot of things, you know, like with other religions during the summer, you know. It was about, like, for me, I knew that Christianity wasn't for me, you know. Like, there are things that I'm not gonna go into, you know, picking on the stuff that is not really, you know, corresponding with how I perceive things within Christianity, because I think that is something everyone has to, you know, connect in their own, you know, sort of perspective. Or I mean, if Christianity is something that you strongly is, you know, attached to, then okay, fine, you know, I have nothing against it. But it was just, I needed to be sure that it wasn't for me, you know. And so yeah, so I tested a lot of related things to that, and I was just like, yeah, I am sure about where I am, because I was already so far along this path. So I was just like, this is it, you know, this is for me. And so yeah, and I was like, I don't know what I had expect when I started to read the Quran. I just thought that, because this is, by the way, an English translation, so I didn't have any, you know, kind of how should I say, I didn't have any assumption at all. I am very good on just keep no assumptions and just go into things and just keep an open mind and just make up my mind based on my experience that is first hand, you know. So yeah, but it was quite an interesting thing, you know, and there was some highlighted points that I actually really, it was like, yeah. And the funny thing was that a lot of the things that I experienced during the timing I was in North Sweden, it was like referred in the Quran, you know. So I was like, I was experiencing attacks and all, like, from different people who was not supporting me, even if they knew I already was religious and like spiritual. But I mean, for them it was easier to accept that I was doing yoga and that I was praying, but just the fact that I was wearing something, it was like a big problem for them. So, but the funny thing was that everything in the Quran, it was like, it was just referring to the things I was experiencing. So I was like, okay, well, and the funny thing was that when something happened to me, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna read the Quran, then it was like exactly referring to that situation that I was experiencing. So that's how it kept on going for 6 months, when I was going over this, and it was really an experience. And then, yeah, so during Ramadan, I was like in 2018, since I already had experiencing quite a few Ramadans in both in Dubai and in Jordan, I was like, I need to be in Jordan during Ramadan 2018. And so I was in Ramadan during 2018, and it was just amazing. It was an amazing experience. Yeah, like I was, by the way, I was like living on a hill, and when the call for prayer went off around, early in the morning hours, it was like a echo, going across all of these hills um, in Amman. And I seeing that the battery on my camera is saying that there is 0 minutes left, so that's not a good thing. But yeah, but I mean, most of the things that I sort of, got to learn about Islam, it started in 2012 when I went to Dubai, but it wasn't on my mind to pick it up into something I would start practicing. I was like doing yoga in Dubai, and I was like, this is my jam, this is what I'm gonna focus on. And I mean, celebrating Christmas and these things, but I mean, things in Christianity did not make sense to me, and it became more like a cultural thing.